Welcome to another video from Q4of5 Solutions. You're currently watching the British International Distance College Accounting Module video series. I'm taking you through the different assignments, and we do offer private tutoring if you need help with them. There is information on the website, and you can also consider following us on Instagram and Twitter, and keep watching the YouTube channel for more support. The third-party disclaimer again, the material in this video is based on information, products or services by third parties. I cannot guarantee the accuracy of any of the information contained in the material. All trademarks appearing in this guide are the property of their respective owners. Q4of5 Solutions is a private institution and is by no way connected to the British International Distance College. Any reference made to the subject material referred to the official BIDC material, and we do not represent them as our own. In the IGCSE accounting assignment pack, one of the rules states that all resources may be used when answering assignments, including textbooks, the internet, tutors, etc. And that's why I'm assisting you with these questions to help you prepare for your exams. So far we have covered 3 of the 5 questions. We're now going to be looking at question 4 of assignment 2. So let's begin. Question 4 is on page 36 of your assignment pack. Question 4 starts off by stating, Malcolm is a trader. He keeps a full set of accounting records. The books of original prime entry show the following transactions for August. So you've got the purchaser's journal. Just to recap, the purchaser's journal would represent all the amounts that he has purchased or bought on credit during a particular month. Then you've got the purchaser's returns, so again things that he's returned. And finally, you've been given information about the cash book. In brackets, they've given you the credit side. Question number 1 says, write up the accounts of Mentor and Terrain as they would appear in Malcolm's purchase bracket creditors ledger for the month of August. So I'm looking at the creditors ledger. If I'm focusing on the creditors ledger of Malcolm's business, let's write that down. Malcolm we're looking at his creditors ledger. They call it a purchasers brackets creditors ledger. So that's T accounts for each of these different creditors. That should be enough space. They want the accounts of Mentor, so trade payables or creditors, and this is for Mentor. And they also want the T account for Terrain. For the month of August 2015. Then number 2 says, this is number 1, so 1. Then number 2 says, write up the purchaser's account and the purchaser's returns account as they would appear in Malcolm's general ledger for the month of August. So very similar to what we had in the previous question, except we're looking at creditors now. So I just want to put a note here, creditors ledger, bracket specific accounts, and then we'll obviously have a general ledger. Let's do that actually on this side so you can see both. General ledger, and I'm also going to have 2 accounts there, one for purchases. Okay, so we know that's periodic in terms of the inventory management system, and purchases returns. Brilliant. Now we've got everything we need in terms of the actual question and answer. Okay, so we now just need to go back to the information and pull through the correct figures that we need to reference in these particular accounts. So let's start with the first bit of information that we have here in the purchaser's journal. That's the first bit of information that's given in the question. they say purchases journal. So we've got 2015 August. Okay, on the 4th, we had mentor, goods, trade discounts, and then we've got terrain, goods, and then total for the month. Right, so two different purchases here from different creditors. So trade payables is a liability. So when goods are sold, that'll be a debtor. When goods are bought, that'll be a creditor. So we know this is a liability. We're going to have a credit then. And the goods that were bought had a trade discount of 70. So when I record, I do not record trade discounts because that's a reduction in the selling price. So Mentor is going to owe us on the 4th of August. This was a purchase, so purchases from the purchases journal, and they purchased 350 minus a discount of 70, 280. That's the amount that they're owing us. I'm not doing journals separately, so I'm going to be recording that as well in the actual general ledger account. The general ledger we know is going to have totals because we take the totals from the journal and we post them through to the general ledger. I don't have journals here, so I'm going to show as much detail as possible. If that's the credit, then in purchases I'm going to show the debit. Okay, mentor. And that's what I've got in the purchases. So every debit must have a credit, and that balances perfectly, so we've completed that. Then the second bit in the purchases journal relates to terrain. Terrain here, we have goods of 115. So goods of 115 would be affecting their account, and it's a purchase, so we would have a purchase on the credit on the 4th as well. Purchases, and the amount here was 115. 115 would be the amount that I would reference here on the 4th of August. Purchases journal, and I would show an amount of 115. Okay, assuming you did have journals, there is a total for the month here, so you could perhaps use that amount and you could record it as one amount here, being 395. Or we can show them separately, it's up to you. But both of those amounts are going to be shown as purchases. So just to show the alternatively, you could have shown this. You could have shown one amount, total trade payables, and I would just show one amount of this amount plus that in that particular general ledger tier account. Again, it's up to you how you want to show it. I would prefer showing it as two separate line items for the purposes of this question, because it's a short question and showing more workings would probably be better than showing just that. That's my only reason for showing it separately. Either or should be marked correctly depending on the examiner. Next, we have purchases returns journal, and the purchase returns was for Mentor. Okay, so the trade payables account for Mentor is going to be decreasing. So liabilities decrease on this side, and we would reference purchases returns. This was on what date? This was on the 10th. Purchases returns from the purchases returns journal. How much did they return? 200 minus the trade discount gives you the 160. So 160 is going to be seen as a return. This transaction must be recorded here in the purchase returns, which will be on that side, and we would record this as trade payables mentor from the purchases returns journal, and the amount here was 160. The amount won't change. 10th of August, yes, 10th of August, perfect. That was the purchases returns journal. Then the next bit is cash book bracket credit side. So if I'm looking at the credit side, I'm looking at discount received. This would have been payments that you've made. So I'm looking at the 16th. On the 16th, there's a discount that we've received as well as the amount that we've paid of 117 from bank. So that must be recorded in the trade payables of mentor. If it's a payment, bank will decrease on the credit side and the liability will decrease on the debit side. So on the 16th of August, bank cash payments journal, I'll have the same thing here, but discount allowed, discount received from the cash payments journal. How much did they pay? They paid 117 and the discount was 3 Rand. So that's the total that would have been referenced in bank and discount received for that particular creditor. Then the next line says day 24 Terrain, we paid them 50 from the bank. So bank here paid them 50 on what date? On the 24th. So the 24th of August, bank is going to go down on the credit side and our liability is going to decrease on the debit side. And we paid Terrain 50. Then we've got cash book credit side. The last one's purchases. So we also had cash purchases of purchases. Okay. So August, cash purchases of purchases. This will be bank, bank cash payments journal. How much? 200 cash. Okay, they said cash, so this shouldn't be bank, this should be cash. They said cash in the question. There's a heading for cash. So cash payments, this is a cash payment. Okay, so cash instead of bank because they gave you a column for cash. Great. Now we just need to balance these accounts off. So purchases, I would sum up. Let's add extra lines here. I'm going to look for totals, which is the biggest side. This side looks bigger than that side. Let's just check. No, it's the same. Okay, great. So that's actually a balance of 0. If I add up all of this and I add up that, I get 0, so there's no balance for that account. Will this account have a balance? Yes, it will. So this minus that gives me a balance that I'll carry down. August has 31 days. August, balance carried down. And then August, September, 1 September, balance brought down, and the balance brought down would be equal to that amount, 65. So that's the trade payables for Terrain. These, you could balance these accounts or you could just total. I'm going to just balance just for the sake of being more accurate. Balance carried down, balance brought down. Perfect, and that's the balance there. This account I wouldn't really balance because there's only one line item here. You could if you wanted to, but remember these are nominal accounts, purchase and purchase return, so those nominal accounts will be closed off to profit and loss when calculating profit or loss at the end of the accounting year, financial year. So I'm not going to add or total that. You could if you wanted to. I'm just going to show that there, 160. Just to be complete. There we go. And that's question number 4. Question 4, let's just double check. Write up the accounts of Mentor and Terrain as they would appear in Malcolm's purchases ledger. Brilliant, we've done that. There's Mentor and Terrain. And create the purchase account and purchase and purchase returns in the general ledger. Perfect. And that concludes question number 4.